What's up, family? Let's see if I can start a little car audio series. Do a little intro here, and I'll make a playlist for it later. This will be part one, starting out with wire. I have a few different examples and a few tips to share. Let's see if I can get this out. One take, like always. If I make a mistake, don't hate. Solid copper wire. Let's see, first this got triggered by someone asking or stating, I've heard this many times, my car is already wired and you just have to plug the amps in and go. Where to start here? Power wire. Everybody wants to buy the kits that come with. I'm not even going to show this one, it has a name on it. They use cheaper wire in your kits. Here's an example of 4 gauge. This is aluminum. Then we have aluminum that's copper coated. This is straight aluminum. And that's pretty good gauge. Let me jump to this one since we're on straight aluminum. Now here's one that came with a kit. That's about a 10 gauge worth of wire. No more than 8 gauge. So that's supposed to be 4 gauge. That stuff will get hot and start melting if you run too much current through it. It'd be no good for a high current install. They'll do the same thing on 0 gauge, 1/0. This one's not bad. I think this came from a kit, and it is aluminum, but it's copper coated around each strand, which that's a little bit of an upgrade from solid aluminum. It's a little better. Then we got, I'll give the name on this one because this seems to be the best priced one out there so far. Sky High Audio, Sky High Car Audio. I'm sure they have different levels of wire too. But this one is solid copper. You can tell on the end. And it's a good gauge. Coating could have been heavier. I have some black around here somewhere that's double coated. It's for marine use. So the thing is with using old wire, RCAs are always recommended to replace and to buy separate RCAs. Don't go with the kit for that reason also. They use cheap RCA jacks on those kits. Get you a nice thick coated, shielded RCA set. Run 3 of them. You got your front, your rear, and your subwoofer outputs. That way you can do just about anything you want with that. And if you have wire already in a vehicle, that's fine. We can look it over, inspect it, make sure it's not pinched under the seats, under the carpet. Going behind the back seat. Speaking of pinching power wire behind the back seat, I've seen that happen before. And that told me right there you need fuse holders on the front and back of your wire, your power wire, when you're doing dual batteries. That means you need a fuse a good 1.5 feet off of each battery. That way if the wire gets cut or pinched in the middle, your power will get cut off on each end. Hopefully. Unless you have something like this, don't use these. This one here is a normal A&L fuse, or maxi A&L fuse. This is a mini A&L fuse. I've seen these melt. So those are no good. I will not use those. Another thing, if you're using old wire, which is sometimes this is no big deal, we can just cut the end of the wire off fresh and start with some new ends. The copper ends cramped on. Get a good connection. And that's about it for wire. I mean, you have all your different gauges. You have 10, 8, 4, 2-aught, 1-aught, and 0 gauge. Of course, 0 being the largest. I have some decent ground. It's the aluminum that's copper coated, but it is a correct 4 gauge wire inside the coating. And all this goes for your speaker wires too. Here's some good speaker wire, solid copper, 12 gauge. And here's some kind of cheaper, supposedly 12 gauge. It's close to it. It's aluminum and copper coated strands. Slight difference in gauge. So it helps and makes a difference. And your wire will last. So if you did put all this kind of good wire in the vehicle, I do recommend keeping it, because it should last. If you have some of this stuff that's solid aluminum, especially if you get a hold of speaker wire that's solid aluminum, you'll see inside of it years later it turns green and starts mildewing, corroding. Aluminum corrodes. Your copper is going to last much longer. It's going to be better for heat and current. And that's why they used it. I didn't see this start taking place till I think around 2008, when we had that recession, and gas prices and copper, the glue I use, all that stuff went up, and they started making these power wires and wiring cheaper, in a cheaper way, make it affordable, I guess. So know what you're buying, and more power to you. I wish everybody luck. There was something else. There's always something else. There's plenty I can share. Well, I'll cut it off there. Buy good power wire. Buy good RCA jacks. Use solid copper terminals on the ends. Should be good to go. We'll get into the audio more in depth on future videos. Thanks for watching, family. Peace.